And by the way, a month ago, you were voting against her. Oh, because you thought she was either incompetent, ineligible, or unsuited to the task.
I voted against her because I was afraid she was going to bend the knee to you and Donald Trump. And it looks like she didn't bend the knee, so you fired her. Look, you're putting America's babies' health at risk, America's seniors' health at risk, all Americans' health at risk, and you should resign.
Senator Sanders.
All right, folks, let's break down the fireworks at today's Senate Finance Committee hearing, where Senator Elizabeth Warren went toe-to-toe with HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over vaccine availability.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So last November, while you were under consideration to become Secretary of Health and Human Services, Mr. Kennedy, you said, quote, "If vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away." No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. You would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. Then last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. So let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it, Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
And that is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise,
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products for which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access to
it depends on the state. It depends on the states.
A year ago,
but they can still get it. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get it, Senator.
So look, let's move on. You clearly are taking away vaccines. I've seen the list for what's coming up next, and that is the agenda for the next CDC vaccine panel. And first up is ratifying your COVID actions. Second is hepatitis B is on the agenda. So should Americans expect you to take away hepatitis vaccine access as well, even though you promised not to?
As I said, I'm not taking vaccines away from anybody.
Okay, same answer, right? You're just going to deny that when people can't get access, that you're not taking it away. Then let me ask you, is that the same game you're going to play with measles,
you want me to recommend every product in the world
No.
So that
I
without
want
any
you to
clinical trial
follow
data.
through on your promises.
Yeah, my promise was to give.
A month ago, we could get COVID vaccines by just walking
You can
into a
still get
pharmacy.
COVID vaccines,
You
Senator.
are taking that away.
No, you are
So
still,
let
you
me
can
ask
still
you
get the
one more
COVID vaccines, and
question,
Medicare
Secretary
will still
Kennedy.
pay for them, and Medicaid will still
Did you
pay
tell
for
the
them.
head of the CDC that if she refused to sign off on your changes to the childhood vaccine schedule, that she had to resign?
No, I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said no. So
What?
if you had an employee who told you they weren't trustworthy, would you ask them to resign, Senator?
So I'm sorry, but this is not what she has said publicly. She has
Well,
said
I'm
she
not
was
surprised
told to
about that.
reapprove. So you're saying she's lying?
Yes. Every conversation I had with her, there
And
were
let me get this
witnesses.
straight. This is the same person that less than a month earlier, you stood next to her and described her as unimpeachable. And you had full confidence in her, and that you had full confidence in her scientific credentials. And in a month, she became a liar? Is
Yeah,
that what
you
you're
should
saying?
ask her what she, and by the way, a month ago, you were voting against her. Oh, because you thought she was either incompetent, ineligible, or unsuited to the task.
I voted
Now I
against her
agree
because
with
I
you.
was afraid she was going to bend the knee to you and Donald Trump. And it looks like she didn't bend the knee, so you fired her. Look, you're putting America's babies' health at risk, America's seniors' health at risk, all Americans' health at risk, and you should resign.
Senator Sanders.
Warren came out swinging, zeroing in on a promise Kennedy made during his confirmation process, that he wouldn't take vaccines away from anyone who wanted them, no exceptions. She quoted him directly, emphasizing his no ifs, ands, or buts stance. But then she dropped the hammer, pointing out that Kennedy recently announced the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under 65. That's a head scratcher, right? If the vaccine's not approved for a big chunk of folks, how can he say it's available to everyone? Warren pressed him hard, asking if all adults and kids over 6 months can just walk into a pharmacy and get a COVID booster today. Kennedy's response, anybody can get the booster. Sounds straightforward, but then he muddied the waters, saying it's not recommended for healthy people. That's where things got messy. 1.1.1. Things got spicier when Warren brought up Kennedy's alleged $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, implying he might be compromised. Kennedy didn't take that lying down. He accused Warren of misrepresenting his stance and doubled down on his claim that vaccines are still accessible. But Warren had receipts, pointing out that state regulations and insurance policies make access tougher than he's letting on. It's a classic political chess move. She's framing him as untrustworthy, breaking promises to the American people. The plot thickened when Warren shifted to the CDC and Kennedy's recent actions. She brought up the CDC vaccine panel's agenda, which includes ratifying Kennedy's COVID decision and reviewing the hepatitis B vaccine. She asked if Americans should expect him to restrict hepatitis B access to, despite his promises. Kennedy stuck to his script, denying he's taken anything away, but Warren wasn't buying it. She accused him of playing games with access, and you could sense her frustration boiling over. Then came the bombshell about the CDC head. Warren claimed Kennedy forced her to resign because she wouldn't sign off on changes to the childhood vaccine schedule. Kennedy's response was wild. He said he asked her to resign after she admitted she wasn't trustworthy. That's a bold claim, especially since, just a month earlier, he called her unimpeachable and praised her credentials. Warren pounced, questioning how someone goes from unimpeachable to a liar in 30 days. Kennedy suggested asking the CDC head what changed, but Warren flipped it, noting that Kennedy himself had opposed her nomination, fearing she'd bow to political pressure. When she didn't, Warren argued. He fired her. Ouch. Here's my take. Warren's got a point. Kennedy's promise to keep vaccines available for everyone doesn't square with his policy shifts. If insurance won't cover it and pharmacies can't provide it easily, that's a barrier, plain and simple. His clinical data argument holds some weight, but it feels like he's hiding behind it to avoid accountability. On the flip side, Kennedy's trying to thread a needle, balancing science with access, while under intense scrutiny. The CDC resignation story is a red flag. It's hard to believe someone flips from unimpeachable to untrustworthy that fast without some political maneuvering. Warren's playing hardball, And her accusation that Kennedy's putting Americans' health at risk, especially babies and seniors, lands with some force. This hearing shows the deep divide in how we approach public health. Warren's pushing for universal access and holding Kennedy to his word, while he's leaning on data-driven decisions, even if they limit options. Both sides have valid concerns, but the contradiction in Kennedy's stance is tough to ignore. It's a classic case of politics muddying the waters, and us regular folks are left wondering who's really looking out F.